So a lot of people have been watching my AKTX win from yesterday on Friday. Saw that where I got in at the 1860 area, why I got in, why I was looking to sell above $21. Kind of the technicals on it. A lot of people, said I didn't really explain it well. So I'm gonna make this little video, hopefully talk about it a little bit better. I know it's, obviously not real time now, but just kind of going back, looking at the chart, seeing what I was seeing the technicals on the chart, why it was going where it was going, and kind of the fundamentals of this trade. So analyzing support and resistance, I talk about this all the time, playing these support resistance lines, and then kind of just figuring out what is going on here with the stock. This AKTX, literally, I think it played the support and resistance lines perfectly. It really did, and you'll see from this video exactly what went down. AKTX has been bouncing around for the last couple weeks. It had a couple runs. The last time it ran, actually, I'll zoom out real quickly, it went up to $22. So it went from $9 to $22 in that run, basically. And you can see the move here. A lot of volume there in the first couple moves there. And then up to $22. A couple dips, big pops, but still had a lot of momentum behind this stock. Jumped to $22.20 there. High, 52-week high there on AKTX. So zooming back in on the day chart for Friday, you can see I've already got my support and resistance lines on the chart there, because I was obviously looking at this chart like I was telling you guys. Thursday, it runs up into close, which is always a good sign. So you can see it actually ran from 14.75, had good support there, comes up to 17.24. This $17 area was a resistance before, ends up turning into support. So you get this, comes back in the morning, you get this big spike of volume here, picks it up. Not much going on pre-market, only 100 shares traded pre-market. Get this spike here at open, 43,000 shares traded. Next candle, 39,000 shares traded. So big move there, jumping up from that $16 to $17.73 area. So from $17.73, it comes back down, bounces around that $17 area, $16.80. So you have that two bottoms there, $16.80. Volume still good there, 20,000 shares, not huge volume, but obviously this is a $20 stock, $20 stock. So not going to have millions of shares traded on the 5-minute candle, like the smaller stocks that we trade. But looking at this, you can see had a little bit of trouble there, had some indecision on these candles, some big wicks, but still, moving higher lows, has a pullback here down to that 17.19, but still gets bought up and then moves higher. This next candle, big green candle here, shoots up to that 18.90 resistance. So you can see there on the chart, I've got that line. This is actually previous resistance. So 18.19 was previous resistance. Got this resistance area, had some trouble there, hit the resistance area, then comes back down. So they had some support. I'd say, 1740, 1720 area. It ends up bouncing off 1745 and then going back up, testing that resistance once again. You can see the volume having some trouble. Not a ton of volume. Only 2,000, not a lot of volume there. So not much going on. It just could not break through resistance. But if you look at the overall trend here, you see from this move, it's moving higher lows all the way through this trend. So seeing this trend, even after it gets denied the resistance, it comes back down, bounces kind of off that trend line, keeps those higher lows all the way up here, looking good overall. And following this trend line up, it gets tight right here. You get these real tight, just up, down. And then basically once that trend line intersects with that resistance, it explodes. And from 18.12, it jumps up to 18.88. So $19 was resistance in the past couple weeks. $19 was resistance, and you can see here it has trouble once again. So hits that $19, hits $19 there a couple times. I don't know if that's consolidating or not, but really, on this candle we get 88,000 shares traded. So that's a huge move for this. First 5-minute candle of the day was 43,000 shares traded. This candle right here is 88,000 shares traded. So huge move there. Jumps up from 18.11 to 18.89. Almost a $1 move there. Gets denied at resistance there. You get this sell off here because people are getting scared at resistance there. Got a lot of shorts that are trying to keep this down. Remember, this stock has been heavily shorted. People are trying to keep this down. They've been shorting it since it spiked to $22 before. They ended up getting in. Now it's going back up. So the shorts are trying to keep it down. They're trying to keep that profit. If they can't, they're going to end up having to close. And I think a lot of this is what's going on right here. You had the shorts that shorted this top here, this resistance area. It got here and it got squeezed, and that's exactly what happened. Squeezed up here to the 18.89. Had a lot of shorts covering right there. thinking this is going to go higher and run up. And it kind of does. So it goes up to 1919 there. Higher, making higher lows all the way through here. Have this kind of triple bottom here. Have some trouble. You get that top again there at 1890. Comes back down to the 1830 support, which was resistance from earlier. Bounces off the 1830. So that right there was a good sign. And you say, why was that a good sign? So this earlier resistance was strong. This is a strong resistance. You had, 3, 4 tops here. And then once it exploded through there, it went to the next resistance. So from there, it came back down, bounced around that area, got bought up. A lot of buyers trying to get in there. You thinking this is going to go higher for a new high of day. Has some trouble there, like I said. Had some shorts piling in once again, trying to keep this down. And there it comes. So only 3,000 shares traded right there. Only 3,000 shares traded there. And then 12,000 shares traded. But still bounces off this support resistance from earlier. So you have this candle here. It opens at 1836. Has a little bit of a spike down, but still gets bought up. You have 12,000 shares traded. So these last couple candles were only 3,000 shares traded. A little bit of a sell-off here, but still getting bought up. Opening here at 1843, this candle opened at 1837, so it's moving higher. It wants to go, and then you see here, it gets up to the 1863 area. So the key area to watch really was this 1870, 1860 area, because if this breaks again, you have this kind of triple top here at the 1870, 1860 area. So with that triple top there, once that broke, it was a clear sign this wanted to go higher, and then once 1890 broke, which was the key area that I was watching, that everyone was watching, obviously. Once that broke, it was another good sign this was going to go higher into close. There was rumors of news coming out on AKTX on Monday, so a lot of people were trying to pile into this stock. Once that resistance broke, you had a lot of shorts that were trying to cover here. So look at this. So 4,000 shares traded right there, and then boom, just bullish candle there. Just goes straight up from 1843, huge full body there, up to $20. So huge move there, right there alone. I ended up getting shares at 1863 on a little bit of pullback there, and I got some more shares at, I think, 1920. So I had 1,000 shares in my small account, and I also got some shares in my larger account. But you can see this move. So from that support area, from 1830, 1840 area, it goes up to almost $20, 2011 there. So from $20, it moves higher again. So we knew that the resistance area was at that $20 area. So we wanted to see if $20 could break strong. If $20 broke strong, we were then looking for that 2080 area to break again. And that's why I kept saying, looking for that 2080 to break and then possibly move higher to $21 and get up there closer to resistance from earlier. I wasn't expecting this to break $22 resistance area. That's why I was kind of looking to take profit in the 21 area, because I was thinking that 22 resistance was going to be too strong. They weren't going to let this break that $22 resistance from previous, and they're going to keep this down. And that's kind of what happened here. Obviously, you had people that were getting scared. You have that 21.86 high. If that 22 resistance wasn't there, maybe it would have kept going, $23, $24. Who knows? But people knew that resistance was there, so they're going to end up selling off, taking profit from that move from 1843. Everyone who's trading these stocks is watching the same charts. They're watching the same support resistance lines. Maybe they're a couple cents off for each person, but in general, those general areas of support and resistance are universal for everybody. So everyone's trading those and watching those. You can see here, once AKTX got up to 28.186, came back down to that support there at 20.35. Like I said, the support and resistance lines aren't always perfect, but you can see those general areas of support and resistance. Huge move here on AKTX. You get 196,000 shares traded. On this next candle, 75,000 shares traded. And then the big move of the day there, 197,000 shares traded again. And, huge volume here going into close. Everybody was watching this stock. There was a lot of hype around it. This stock has been exploding just sporadically. If you look back at the chart here, it just kind of jumps up out of nowhere, jumps up, comes back down, jumps up, comes back down, jumps up, comes back down, and just kind of does that. And, really it's been down to $12 recently and back up to $22. So big move there on AKTX. If you got in at that $12 bottom there, you're a happy man going into the weekend now. But hope you guys understood a little bit better. I'm not the best chart analyst or, technical analyst, but I try to look at these support and resistance lines very closely and playing those support and resistance line breaks. Hopefully this helps. If it doesn't, sorry about you, but in general, that's kind of what I'm looking at those resistance lines. Obviously, this $19 resistance was strong, And I knew once that $19 resistance broke, it was going to go higher. You might say, well, why did you buy here at 1860? Well, if, it was kind of the place to buy. Was I going to wait for that break at $19? Maybe. But also, knowing how the stock reacted the last couple Fridays, or also, seeing the news, the rumors, and kind of the hype behind this, I thought, it'll be a safe bet to get in here at the 1870 break. If the 1870 breaks strong, I'm seeing this go above 19, no problem. And then from 19, it was kind of like, well, so we get to that $20 area, had a little, spike up, spike down, spike up, spike down, and then finally breaking through and going to high of day there at 21.86. So should I have waited for that $19 break? Maybe, maybe not. But, I kind of felt confident here after trading AKTX a couple times now, knowing, what might happen here going into close, and then looking at these tops on these candles and kind of just overall the trend on the daily. You can see just pretty solid trend on the day, heading higher. Had a little bit of, pull back here, kind of back down to that 1789 area, but holding that support area and then going higher from there and then playing these resistance areas. So very important to learn about support and resistance and watching these key areas and trading these stocks just like that.